From the News Channel 5 Network, this is OpenLine.
Good evening and welcome to Ask the Attorney. I'm your host, Amy Rao Mohan, and this is the type of show which is really a great opportunity to ask all of your legal questions, civil, criminal legal questions, any area of the law. We should be able to answer those for you. And today we have Kevin Kennedy from Clarksville.
Absolutely. So good to see you, Amy.
Good to
it's
see you
always
too.
Fun to be here.
From the Kennedy Law Firm in Clarksville, 3
Yes.
locations over there.
Yes.
And tell people who are new to the show a little bit about what you do and your practice.
Well, in our practice, we have lots of lawyers, support staff, so just about any kind of problem that comes into your life, we've got someone there that can address that issue. You know, we say time and time again on the show that life is so complicated. The more that we live, we're going to have a problem with a bankruptcy issue. And even if you're in the rental business, well, what do you do when the landlord files bankruptcy? Or if you're a landlord, what do you do when the tenant files bankruptcy?
Right.
And so, you know, divorce, bankruptcy hinges in, and domestic assault. So much of the law, you have to know a little bit about everything to maneuver through it. And if you don't, you know, that's what they always said, that ignorance is no excuse. And I believe that.
Yeah, that's true. And so we just want you to call that number on the bottom of your screen. That's 737-plus, 737-7587. Give Kevin a call, and he can answer those legal questions for you. We're on this show the third Thursday of every month.
Yes.
And we usually get a ton of calls, and really it's a great opportunity for us as lawyers to help people too.
Yeah, one of the things I think I've learned as being a lawyer, I've been now 31 years, lots of lawyers is to discuss it. So there's a lot of people listening tonight, and they've got an idea. I think this may be the answer, but you're not really sure. So this gives us a great opportunity to discuss it. And one of the other things I've learned over the years too, even if we don't know the answer, as I discuss it and share with you, then the answer is becoming more and more, and options come out. And that's what I love for people to get to hear here tonight, is what are my options?
Yeah, and as a fairly new lawyer, I learned so much from you on this show and just our callers and kind of the variety of law that we touch on every week. So we've got Reggie here, and remember, keep calling that number 737-plus, 737-7587. Hi there, Reggie.
Hello, ma'am. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I've been better.
All right. Well, how can we help you?
My question is this, ma'am. I'm a former police officer in the state of Kentucky. I let a man borrow a trailer.
And Reggie, I'm going to ask you real quick if you'll just turn down the volume on your TV set. It'll be a little bit easier to hear you.
Now, can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. I let a man borrow a trailer. Okay. So I go through the right. He takes my trailer. I didn't know he was on crystal meth.
Oh, boy.
Yes, sir. He takes my trailer. He smokes it up. He sells it in Springfield. As a former police officer, I go down there. I try to find my trailer. It's already gone from the lot that supposedly got it. Long story short, he gets locked up for stealing equipment from the farmers around the Olinda, Tennessee area. I live right across the border in Kentucky. I'm just a hand-to-mouth old horse breaker. That's what I do for a living. Whole point is, it's been almost 5 years. My trailer's still gone. I put warrants on him while he's locked up in Robinson County, thinking that they were going to make it a felon. They didn't make it a felon because the trailer only cost $450, but the replacement value on the trailer puts it as a felon in Kentucky. Get the warrant, no felon, he gets released. Now I'm stuck. Kentucky tells me that if I go to Tennessee, pick this man up, bring him back, they're going to arrest me for kidnapping or unlawful imprisonment. Kentucky won't pick him up. Tennessee, they will not extradite him. Basically, I try to go by the steps of the law, and I'm getting screwed, sir.
Well, what happened and what your situation is a great time to share with the viewing audience. We've got to be careful. No one has to protect you. You have to protect yourself. So every time, and you're not the only man, I'm a lawyer, and I had some guys that wanted to borrow one of my trailers. You know, I'm in the horse business, so I wanted to be nice, and they took my trailer and wrecked it. Of course, when they came back, they said, "Don't worry, Mr. Kennedy, we will fix it." I'm in the same boat you. I never got that trailer fixed. So, you know, it is a shame, but the lesson to learn is he could have taken on a lot of liability loaning his trailer out. And if there'd been an accident, you said, golly, I was just loaning it. As a general rule, the person has the insurance on the vehicle, they should cover the trailer. But that's not an absolute. So again, you know, if we file the paperwork, if it's a felon, they should extradite him. But if they choose not to, what are you going to do? I'll tell you what the DA will say. He'll say, go sue him. Well, then again, you know, what are the odds you're going to get anything out of a guy? We can always get the judgment. I didn't say we could collect it.
Yeah,
and so that we may run into a dead-end wall right there. If you ever did get a judgment, you keep it renewed. Sometimes you file it at the courthouse. If he ever gets anything, that could place a lien on that, and you might get your money. The squeaky door gets the oil, the guy that keeps on keeping on. A lot of people get discouraged, don't want to spend the time, energy, and effort, and they let it go.
It may be worth it sometimes.
But you reminded me, don't loan out any of the trailers.
Yeah. All right, and call that number at the bottom of your screen, 737+. We've got Gary here. Hi, Gary.
How you doing?
Great, Gary.
Hey, I have a question. A couple of weeks ago, I had received 3 pieces of mail from some attorneys here in Nashville.
Yes.
And they're bankruptcy attorneys.
Yes.
And they was telling me about I would be, I guess, be served some papers to come to court about a credit card company that, you know, that I had a card with. And during the time I had the card, I was doing pretty good, and I was paying the minimum and over the minimum. But I'm a kidney dialysis patient, and at that time I was going back and forth to Smyrna with my car in the dead winter, you know, and my car started acting up, and I maxed the card out trying to get it fixed, and my car was still giving me problems.
Yes.
Now, just a year and a half ago, I lost my job, and now I'm just living on Social Security. And I called legal aid. I hadn't heard anything back from an attorney yet. And I'm kind of like, I don't know what to do, you know. The lady from this law firm from Memphis, she called me today about the credit card, and I explained to her my situation. I said I can't pay anything because the apartment that I live in, they went up on me last year for my lease $105. And
well, one of the things that jumps out as you're talking with me tonight, if all the income you have is Social Security, and if say that the people have a legitimate claim against you for those credit cards, they're still going to have a hard time collecting because those Social Security benefits wouldn't. Now, if you put them in a bank account and you have property in your name, they can sue you, they can get a judgment, they can execute on your property. And so again, when you said you've had several law firms, what that sounds like to me is that's bankruptcy firms that are sending letters out informing you that they've seen your name on some list being sued and that you ought to contact them. And that's something to consider, because under a Chapter 13, even if you didn't have money, you could break it down and pay just a little bit. Under a Chapter 7, you may have to get someone to help you, and you file a bankruptcy. It'll wipe out all those credit cards. You never have to take a phone call, and that would be the end of it.
All right, good advice. And the phone lines are lighting up, so continue to call at 737+, and we'll be right back with Kevin Kennedy after this.